Hi guys, so my name's Alicia Guzman, and today I'm doing my oil presentation over Pierre Bonnard. Um, I have to do it on a computer just because I don't have access to a flat screen TV or like a big whiteboard to do it on. So let me see if I can get this focused. So a little bit of background information on him is he was born October 3rd, 1867. He was a French painter and printmaker. He died January 23rd in 1947. He was married to Marthe de Maligny. And the only reason that I actually really put her in here was because although he painted many, many, many different things, a lot of the things that he painted incorporated her in there because he was very well known for being an intimist. So a lot of his paintings were, nudes or women without their clothes on, and his muse became her. And when they met, they weren't really anything, and they didn't actually get married until 30 years later, which I thought that was crazy because I can't imagine, like having somebody draw me and then you not doing it, you not being married or doing anything about that, for 30 years. So they waited. And then he was in a group called the Nobby, which was just like some other artists, including himself, that were like all in this, group. And again, he was known as being an intimist because all of his paintings and all of his artwork are very intimate, whether that be just very like connected with the things that are in it, or being drawing nudes. So this picture right here is his wife, and I love this picture because she is literally just looking out the window, and it looks like it's early in the morning, and it looks like it was painted with watercolor, which is absolutely beautiful. And I think he really captured everything real about this photo. Like, I mean, this is something that you would see in real life. And then this is him up in the corner. So I put in here his talents and accomplishments. So they said that he was an initiative draftsman and lithographer. So when I did research on lithography, it was basically just you could use it on metal or stone. And so he had done a lot of work like that. He also did other things besides paintings and printmaking. He did stage decor and then decorative art. So that, meaning for the house or for plays and different things. So this was his first major art piece that I could find and that I read about, and it's called the France Champagne. This was actually an ad for some champagne in France at the time, and this was created in 1891. This really started his career because before this, he wasn't really known for his paintings. And the only reason that he actually got this gig was through a competition, which I think is really awesome that he won that and became, pretty famous for that. So the competition he won was in 1889, and then, 2 years later, drew this in 1891. In this particular painting, I think it's really cool because there's a lot of distortion and perfection and different proportions. As you can see, nothing is really like straight and exact. Her hair is kind of funky. The bubbles are all over the place. Even the words are, not straight. They're just kind of like, it looks like, the pictures kind of have a lot of movement in it. So the next one was called the Nani's Promenade. And this was created in 1897. He accomplished many things with few images in this picture, and I'm going to show you this picture on the next slide. But this is also a super cool picture because when you look at it, it looks very plain, it looks very simple. There's nothing really too crazy going on in it, but when you look closely, there's so many different stories that could be told. So this was actually a lithograph, and it was on 4 different panels. So when I show you the picture, I think it's really cool to notice that each section of the panel could be considered its own painting and not, but this painting in particular is one big section. It was astronomically placed, so as I said, in the painting there's going to be, everything's placed differently, but he did a very good job at making sure that they're placed the right way. So again, like I described, lithography, it's oil and water based, and then the printing is a form of stone or on a metal plate, and then it has a really, really smooth surface on the top of that. So this is actually the piece, and again, you can see the 4 different things, the different panels of there. And again, I don't feel like they flow that nicely because I love that you can take each one and have an individual, painting or piece. So the last one that I talked about actually was the woman reclining on a bed. He did this one in 1899, and it just has a super intimate surrounding. When you look at it, he wasn't trying to, overdo it and make it seem like it was meant to be sexual. It was just very modest for a nude. He concealed the face with a shadow. I feel like this was a good call on his part. This was him downplaying it and making it less of a intimate thing rather, and it's just a beautiful piece to look at. So, like I said, this is considered a modern nude just because it's not really for the intimate, appeal of it. It's more just kind of downplayed and used as a beautiful picture. And it was unlike any, nudes used before. So this is that piece. As you can see, she is laying right here. She is covering up her chest, and she has her legs, spread out along the bed. I think that this is super beautiful because it all kind of flows together. You can't really see where the bed is. You can't really see her body that great. So I feel like he definitely downplayed this, picture. And you can obviously see the pillow and then the background, but this is just very, downplayed and not super intimate, which is good. So then these other two, these are just some other examples that I found that are also really intimate. And all of these are his wife. So he definitely used her as, a muse for a lot of years. Obviously, like I said, 30 years, she was being his model, and then they didn't get married until after that. But I really like this piece because, again, I just think that his pieces are so realistic. They're things that would literally happen, which some artists, I don't necessarily like that about when they try to make things seem like they're not real. But this is just super simple. She is obviously unclothed. She looks like she's in like a bath, either outside or inside, or, filling up a well. And she's just using her pail to get water into the bucket. And then this one down here is his wife again in the bathroom. And again, she's just getting out of the shower or getting into the shower, and she is unclothed. And again, it's just very, very well done because it's just so normalized rather than him trying to be sexual about the painting or super intimate about it. So then I wanted to just talk a little bit about some quotes. So that he had said. So one of them was, drawing is a feeling, color is an act of reason. And then another one was, you cannot possibly invent painting all by yourself. The second one really hit home to me because I felt like he was kind of talking about his wife in this sense, like she helped him with a lot of his paintings by being that muse and that person that was always there. And again, no artist can do anything on their own. I mean, they need to have somebody to model for them or to be their muse, and or they need something to draw. They don't just come up with things on their own to draw. They actually need something, whether it be to look at or for reference. But I love that about him. I think that he obviously, this was way before my time, way before all of our times, but I think that he has kind of like affected society nowadays, especially with my era, because I feel like now a lot of artists are, all for, being sexual and being intimate. And yes, he was obviously known as an intimist, so he did do a lot of paintings where there was unclothed women, unclothed people, some sexual, aspects to it. But what I really love is that, like, back then when he was painting these, it was so normalized because of how classy and how well done he did these paintings. And now when we see paintings of artists, that are naked, it is just strictly about, the main focus of her or the person being nude. Whereas his, I feel like when you look at these ones, the backgrounds have, beautiful things. And this one, especially down here when she's getting out of the bathtub, there's so much color and so much detail. that you're not even really focused on the intimate part of it. I mean, you're focusing on all of it. So I really do think that Pierre had like a really big impact on my society today and then society in the future, because I feel like he has kind of set a standard for all artists that even if you want to get a certain thing across, like intimacy or, you know, sexualism or whatever, there's a way going about it that is very classy. So this is my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed. I learned a lot about Pierre, and I actually look up to him. Some of the stuff I read about him, I was just like, he just seemed like a really awesome guy, and I really enjoyed researching all his paintings. So thank you.